Coin collectors, and welcome to the DC Coin World International Coin Channel. Today it's the 1995p coin from the United Kingdom, and this of course is a three different 1995p coins from the United Kingdom, 5p or 5 pence. If we look at the front, we see that it has Queen Elizabeth II on it, wearing the George IV state diadem. This is the third portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, and you see that it says in front of her DG Reg FD 1990. By the grace of God, Regina or Queen, Defender of the Faith 1990. Has a beaded outer rim. And if we tip it up, we see that it is in fact a reeded edge. Now this coin came out in 1990, so we're kind of celebrating its 30th birthday. And it's the small 5p coin. Now why do they call it the small 5p coin? Well, we'll have to go back to the history of it somewhat to kind of talk about that. And in 1968, England and the United Kingdom decided to try to move towards decimalization of the United Kingdom pound, or the pound sterling back then. Rather than having 240 pence to the pound, they decided to have 100 new pence to the pound. And so in 1968, 3 years before the 1971 decimalization, they introduced a coin to replace the old 1 shilling coin, and that was this coin here, the new 5 new pence coin. And if we look at it here, we see it says DG Reg 1968, again Elizabeth II. Now back then, of course, she was wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, which she brought back in later years on her portrait. And if we look at the back of it, we see that it says 5 new pence. So we have the crowned thistle, or the badge of Scotland here. It says new pence at the top, 5 at the bottom. So it wasn't a 5 pence coin, it was a 5 new pence coin to indicate that they were moving towards decimalization. And for the next 3 years, they tried to set this up so it would replace the 1 shilling coin. Now, this coin actually lasted for a long, long time. So it first came out in 1968, but it lasted until 1981. One of the things that's interesting about the 5p coins is they don't put them out every year, and they often skip years. So even though this coin lasted until 1981, it only came out in proof versions or brilliant uncirculated versions in 1981. The last year of general circulation was 1980. And what did they do in 1981? Well, they came out with a new 5 pence, but they didn't actually put it out until 1985. So they kept the 5 new pence and moved in 1985 to a 5 pence coin without the new. So see how the difference is here. So it says new pence here, it says 5 pence here. So they changed it over, they took the new off, they left the same badge on the back, and you can tell, of course, this is a brilliant uncirculated version. And they had this different portrait of the Queen on it, however. So in 1968 to 1980, they had the second portrait. Then they moved to the 1985 to 1989, they had this portrait. Now in 1989, they made 101 million of these, but the years that they made this one with the third portrait on it, they made it from 1985 to 1990, but they only actually had general circulation coins out in 1987, 1988, and 1989. So 1985 was proof and brilliant uncirculated only. 1986, proof and brilliant uncirculated. 7, 8, and 9, they had circulated versions. And then in 1990, they went back to proof and brilliant uncirculated. So what happens is they have a bunch of years where you just can't get these coins if you're looking to collect them from general circulation. You actually have to buy the brilliant uncirculated set or the proof set. So they went from this big coin in 1989 to this small coin in 1990. And why did they do that? Well, a couple reasons. First off, the large 5p weighed 5.65 grams and was 23.59 millimeters in diameter. The small 5p weighed 3.25 grams and was 18 millimeters in diameter. So it weighs about 40%, 50% less, 40 something percent less, this one. And also by 1990, when this first came out, the 5p wasn't buying quite as much. So it wasn't like the old days when you could buy something with a 5p coin. Um, you could buy a candy bar, or sometimes, like you get a couple of them together, you could buy a soda or a soft drink. You couldn't do that by 1990, and so they they didn't devalue the coin, but they essentially said it isn't worth as much as it used to be. So let's make it smaller. Let's not spend as much on it. And if we can save money making them, let's do that. And this, of course, is the Raphael David Makhlouf portrait. That's who engraved this particular coin. This coin led to the demonetization of all the other 5p coins. So let me see what year it was. In 1990, at the very end of 1990, they took all the old 5p coins and they said 5 new p and 5p, and said they're not worth anything anymore. These ones are off the market, and that's why you won't see these in circulation, because they don't have any currency value anymore in Great Britain. Now, what did they go to? Well, they kept this coin at the same size, but they changed the portrait a few times. And the reason I brought this one in is because this is the newer version of the 5p coin. Very, very hard to illuminate, as you can see. But guess what Queen Elizabeth went back to on this new version of the 5p coin? She went back to the original 5p Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. So you see, see the two prongs coming up, the two prongs here. So this 5p coin, the newest 5p coin, and this of course is the Ian Rank Broadley portrait down here, and you can see the IRB. This 5p coin, she went back to the original 5p Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. But then when you look at the back, you see that it has changed totally. And so the newer ones are called the Royal Shield versions. And the Royal Shield versions, they put all the coins together and you can make a shield if you put them all next to each other. So they made a huge break in the look of the coin, and you can see how the lettering is way bigger on the new coins. The portrait is bigger. The same reeded edge, same size coin, but of course the reverse reverse is way, way different. Now, how many of these did they make? Well, that's the interesting thing. Because it was a new year for the coin, the 30 years ago when they put out the 5p coin, because it was just coming out, because they wanted to get rid of the old 5p coin by the end of the year. So this only had, in 1990, this one only lasted for about a year before it wasn't any good anymore, or wasn't any good for currency anymore. So because they wanted to get rid of the old coin and bring in a new coin, they said, let's make a bunch of them. How many is a bunch? Well, in 1990, they made 1.63 billion, or that is, in the U.S. we call a billion, and I think in Britain you call it 1,000 million. So 1.6 thousand million, or 1.6 billion of these coins came out in 1990, just to get rid of all the old coins. And when that happens, of course, you don't. They kind of, it shocks the market a little bit. So they aren't worth almost anything, because there's so many of them. If you look for these 5p coins, you're gonna find the 1990 probably 1/3 or more of the time of all the old 5p coins. This particular portrait was good until 1997, when they came out with the fourth portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. Okay, so that's all we have today from the DC Coin World International Coin Channel. One thing I'd like to bring up to you is that we do have a new United Kingdom Coin Channel, and we're making videos for that. And we'd love to have you go over and look at that channel and subscribe to that channel too. It's going to focus only on United Kingdom coins and coins of the Commonwealth countries, and it's just getting a start. So go over and take a look at it at United Kingdom Coin World channel. Thank you.